Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. The question for today is Mayor Eric Adams cutting funding for the migrants? What's the truth? What's the reality? What's really happening in New York City? Well, let me talk about these in today's episode. Reportedly, Mayor Eric Adams and his administration are cutting spending on the migrants. Reportedly, the Adams administration announced 20% reduction in migrant spending, and now there's news about an additional 10% reduction. These cuts will reportedly go into effect in the coming weeks. Now, it's very interesting to learn that Mayor Eric Adams is cutting funding for the migrants. Now, initially, when you hear that, your instant reaction may be, "Oh, that's great news." But let's understand the reality here. Let's understand what's really happening. Cutting funding by 10%, 20% doesn't mean eliminating spending on the migrants. The city announced that there will be cuts to migrant spending. There will be cuts to the amount of dollars that the city spends on the migrants. But the city will still spend money on the migrants, maybe less money. But the city is not eliminating spending on the migrants. Let's not forget what has already happened. New York City has spent millions and millions and multi-millions of dollars on the migrants. And that's the truth. A lot of taxpayer dollars have already been spent on the undocumented immigrants. And let's not forget that Mayor Eric Adams also estimated that it will cost New York City $10.6 billion, with a B, billion. $10.6 billion to deal with the migrant surge through June of 2026. And that's a massive number. Let me repeat. Mayor Eric Adams estimated that it will cost New York City $10.6 billion to deal with the migrant surge through 2026. So the city is not talking about eliminating migrant spending. The city is not saying that they will stop spending money on the migrants. What Mayor Eric Adams is saying is that there will be reduction in migrant spending, 20% reduction, an additional 10% reduction. But the city will still continue spending money on the migrants, and that's the reality. I think what has happened is that New Yorkers have been very vocal. New Yorkers have strongly opposed the administration's decision to spend money on the migrants. And so Mayor Eric Adams understands the strong opposition. Mayor Eric Adams is seeing that New Yorkers are not happy. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to calm people down by talking about cutting spending on the migrants. But once again, the city is not eliminating spending on the migrants. What should be happening is that the city should completely eliminate spending money on the migrants. The city should not spend any money on the migrants, $0. No taxpayer money should go to the migrants. But that's not what's happening. New York City continues to spend money on the migrants, maybe less money. But whatever is being spent, that's taxpayer dollars and should not be spent on the migrants. Don't forget the prepaid card program that the New York City has for the migrants. It's a $53 million program to provide prepaid cards to the migrants so that they can go and buy stuff from the market. I talked about this previously. There's a video on my YouTube channel in which I discussed this prepaid card program. So here's what's truly going on. New York City officials are realizing that the American people are very unhappy when they see that massive sums of money are being spent on the on the undocumented immigrants. And so to try to address people's unhappiness, to try to calm people down, the city is talking about funding cuts for the migrants. But the American people should realize this, and I'll say it again, not a single taxpayer dollar should be spent on the migrants. $0 should be spent on the migrants. What New York City officials are reportedly doing is they are cutting migrants' funding by a little bit, but they have already spent tons and tons of money on these foreign nationals. And the New York City officials are not saying that they will completely eliminate spending money on the foreign nationals who crossed the border to enter our country illegally. New York City officials are not eliminating spending. They are just cutting spending by a little bit. So the Adams administration officials, they'll still use taxpayer dollars to provide services to the migrants, but they're now making some cuts, reportedly. Now, this is not going to make New Yorkers happy. New Yorkers want to see a complete stop. A complete stop, full stop. Stop spending money on the migrants. No more dollars for the migrants. $0 for the migrants. So Mayor Adams, he's trying to show the American people in New York that he cares. But in reality, his administration will continue to use taxpayer dollars to provide a wide range of services to the migrants. So these liberal politicians, they continue to prioritize the migrants while the American citizens in New York continue to suffer. That's the reality. Don't be deceived by these liberal politicians in New York City. If these politicians truly want to do the right thing, they should completely end spending money on the migrants, not a single dollar for the migrants. This 10% cut, 20% cut, this is not going to be enough. Stop spending money on the migrants. My friends, share with me your thoughts. Share with me your thoughts. Go to my website, tausifanam.net. Send me a message. You can also email me at tausif@tausifanam.net. My email address, once again, is tausif@tausifanam.net. Thank you for continuing to stay connected with me. Thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, so please connect with me and share with me your views, your opinions. Thank you once again, and I hope to be back again soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam.